Welcome to Sunset Rewind. I'm your host, Tate Iani, and we are here to talk about boys soccer today. Nacho, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in today and talking some soccer with us.
course.
We appreciate it. You and I have a lot of mutual friends in the soccer world. Played for colleges that were competitors, but at the same time, best of friends. So it's fun to just come hang out and kind of learn more about you and let people understand all the success and what you're doing here at Harbor today. So thanks for coming in. Maybe you could start, just tell me a little bit about your background and share that with us, where you're from originally, and give me a background.
Originally, I was born in South America, in Argentina. So my family moved to this country when I was like 7 or 8. And since probably 1989, I've probably been involved in youth club soccer in Southern California since then.
Wow.
Like either as a player, or now as a coach and now directing the club. And the landscape of that has been ever changing. It went from a couple of teams to a monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the late 90s, right, I was in high school. A couple of things started happening with youth sports and youth soccer in particular. And out of Southern California, it was like a hotbed of really, really good soccer players, which made up a lot of the Division I NCAA teams, whether even in this area, right? Zach Wells, Luke Bowen at Notre Dame, Jack Stewart, like all those guys. And I went on and played at Oregon State for a year, and then transferred back and played at Cal State Fullerton for 3 years with like Gordon Kleshin, guys like that, Hector Orellana. And then I started coaching, when I finished school and stuff. And even though I tiptoed around other careers, I knew that I always wanted to stay in the game and kind of do that. And, I think my coach at the time was Eddie Soto, and he actually began my career at coaching. And I think I just enjoyed the mentoringship part of coaching with youth players. So
That's great.
kind of kept on doing that, and now I'm here.
Well, obviously you've got deep soccer roots in the community. As a player, as a coach, a lot of these guys that you talk about, the Eddie Sotos and Gordon, I mean, these are guys that have also been around for a long time and have also contributed quite a bit to soccer. So, as a player, tell us a little bit about your background there in terms of like what position and how that plays in as maybe as a coach.
I was mainly an attacking player, probably, in my youth club and high school, probably more of a forward, goal scorer. To play Division I soccer and be a forward, it probably helps to be 6'2", 6'3". So I'll probably transition more into a midfielding role in college. Everybody tries to live the dream after college and play a little bit. It's a hard life to attempt to be a professional soccer player. For me, particular, I think I dreamt more about the big European club, and I was lucky enough to go to Italy and play in some games and train with some of those teams, and unfortunately found out the level is way beyond what I knew or what I experienced my whole life. So luckily I was finishing school, so I was able to use soccer and sports to kind of complete my education and have a lot more options in life.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's what's most important. And, it is so important that guys like you have come back and poured into the community and these kids. You make the game fun, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
As a coach, what would you say as you kind of develop, what ended up leading you to Harbor, and how did that come about?
So, I'm moved to kind of this community in like 2001, and just kind of began excuse me, began like kind of setting roots, you know, friendships, and a lot of my friends were here. And as we grow older, we start having kids and get married and, you know, all those things. And when I was coaching, I just eventually, you know, with one of the big clubs, the Patadores, just kind of being a coach, I eventually wanted to start a local Patadores branch so that my kids and my friends' kids could play in it, and with the kind of same values and missions that kind of Patadores have, you know, and they've had for decades and decades. So I kind of started doing that. I assistant coached 1 year in 2009 at Harbor.
Okay.
The coach ended up going to UCI, so we were only there 1 year. And ever since then, I kind of just like, you know, I have a lot of friends that go there, and a lot of friends' kids that go there, and like a lot of the Patadores kids and the club kids that go there. So I would love to kind of combine the club with the high school, and kind of like, what they call them, like just like the same kids in the same club, which is kind of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lot of the kids that were in the community, and they play in the same club, and they play together at the high school.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you like the kids. It was a chance to kind of extend your relationship with them and maybe pour into them even more than you were already doing on the club level.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that part. So now I've been there, I think, 8 years. I think this is my 8th year, yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. And so it's really important, too, I think, that you've spent so much time with them in club that now it's fun for these kids. I know for my own kids, it was fun to go from the club environment and then be able to go to high school and have a great time and succeed and have fun together as a team. So now that you've been there for a bit, I mean, or I should step back. When you first got there, what were some of the maybe changes that you thought that you wanted to implement to kind of put your own stamp on the game?
Well, when I got there, it was kind of like this world where it began that a lot of the top local players of soccer were choosing to not play high school soccer. And they would go to these professional academies and try to reach that level of becoming a professional and step away from high school. And it's still like that. So I think it was an opportunity for other players to kind of step up and be those players. And I think I did a good job of combining the local community kids with the Pats kids that were not deciding to step away from high school. And there were some challenges with that, you know, combining all those things. And a lot of players, or a lot of people have said, hey, we need these other players to kind of succeed, and those are the best players. And, you know, one in particular that's playing for the U.S., Cam Harper.
Oh, yeah.
Super local kid.
Yeah.
Phenomenal career.
Yeah.
Right? He was a Newport Harbor kid, and at the moment, he was choosing not to play high school soccer. Obviously, he moved to Scotland and played in Celtic and things like that. So it was a difficult time to try and adjust through that, and that's just like the nature of the beast of soccer in this area in the United States. So taking local talent and trying to like get the most out of them and succeed and making everybody believe we can was a task at first, right? And I think the values that for us that made those things possible was trying to emphasize hard work, right? And like sacrifice, right? And I was trying to think of how to objectively do it, where it wasn't like a coach's opinion or, you know.
Yeah.
So after I think the second year, I implemented like a grade scale, right? Because first year, I think we had a little bit tough time with grades and being eligible academically. And I know from my background and kind of the things that I had to learn later on in my life, I probably wish somebody would have cracked the whip on me a little bit earlier so I could learn those parts of the classroom. So we implemented that. I check grades every week.
Do you? Good.
Every single week, I log on to the school, you know, portal and check everyone's grades. And if you have a D, I don't let you play in the games.
Oh, wow.
And if you have a C, then I check your C. And if you have missing homework, then I don't let you play in the games.
Oh, man.
And there were times where I had to have the
Tough
best
decisions.
players not playing the games.
Yeah, tough
you know,
decisions.
and take a loss or, you know, like take a tough result. But I think it made kids start paying attention closely to that. you know. And on top of that, I tried to like teach them how to communicate with their teachers and teach them how to time manage their situations so that, you know, they have time for their extracurriculars and whatever else that they want to do, but also, you know, prioritize schoolwork. In addition, we implemented like a fitness test, right? And it's not the end all be all for sure, like, but we make them pass a Cooper, which is 2 miles in 12 minutes, right?
Wow.
And I think for some players, fitness is an issue, right? It wasn't super easy for me, but it wasn't difficult. For some players, school's an issue, right? For some players, you know, everyone's got their own hurdles that they have to overcome. But I think those two objective ways, you know, you either did or you did not get the grades.
Yeah.
You either did or you did not pass Cooper. And then, like, how can we get you to do those things?
Yeah.
Right? And that leads to, like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to put more time into this?
Yeah. Well, that Cooper test, I still get nauseous thinking about that thing. That 2 miles and 2 miles in 12 minutes. I would dive across the finish line if I could at 11:59. But it's really neat to hear that it's not all about soccer.
Yeah.
You've made this more of it's a community event. It's life skills, you know, and it's not just, hey, we're trying to play the best brand of soccer and whatever. It's other things outside of that to make them more well balanced. You know,
Right,
as an
right.
experienced coach, I think that's great. I think so. My kids, as I mentioned, they played for the crosstown rival CDM, and same thing. We look back at the high school days, and to have a coach like you that really helps kind of see the big picture is really helpful. So I again thank you for what you're pouring into Harbor and the time that you devote to these kids and all of these intangibles
Yeah,
that you're giving
of course.
them. So well, let's dive into your players. I mean, you've got maybe you could start by telling us about your returning players.
So, 2 years ago was like probably on the 6th year. Like it was pretty much the blossoming of all that work, and the team was all, you know, ultra successful, won CIF, you know, so forth and so on. And obviously with that comes, you know, like in normal high schools, you graduate a lot of guys, you know, you rebuild. But I think from that group, 4 guys still remain.
Wow.
So they were sophomores that year,
Okay.
right? Lesser roles that year. But I think them experiencing that 2 years ago as their first year varsity players, 3 of the 4 played in the CI finals,
They
right?
did.
They were big time players as sophomores.
Wow.
And then obviously the struggles we had last year, they've kind of seen both.
Yep.
And they're incredible leaders to like
Good.
implement their senior year. Like, okay, we want to go back to these days with just Hayden Baker, Landon Baker, Jack Shepard, and Brandon Markert. So those guys are leading the charge for sure, and they're doing a great job so far.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's nice to have that leadership, and like you said, they've had a lot of success, but they've also seen a tough year, and they can now try to finish
Correct.
on a strong note. So that's great. Help us with maybe ideas about some of the up and comers, some other people that maybe we could watch out for.
The senior class, which is a heavy class. Obviously, there were guys, you know, the year we won it, that we were super senior heavy. So there were a lot of guys that probably could have participated in that roster, but it was just so filled that it left them out, and they're craving that.
Oh.
Right? Ali Omar is doing a great job. Dominic Lucarelli is doing a good job. We have a lot of seniors that were watching that game that are
Got it.
chomping at the bit to be part of that. Gibson Young is doing a good job. You know, we have a lot of good seniors that have done a great job with this program.
Yeah. And maybe as a team as a whole, maybe, I mean, what do you see as some of the strengths, whether that's defensively, offensively? I don't know. Just give us some things to look for as a fan that just shows up for one of these games. What would we like to see, and what do you think that we'd be interested in?
I mean, I think that our kind of identity as a team, right, is in order, you know, to use a couple words, would be like a very, very hardworking, resilient, relentless team. Which I've always found interesting. Like, as an opposition, how do you prepare for a team like that? You know, like, you watch our team and you're like, well, they don't have this superstar or that superstar. Cam Harper's not on the team, but
Yeah.
so how do you scout that? Then you go like, well, guys, you better be ready to like work hard because they're never gonna stop running.
Yeah.
They're never gonna stop tackling, and then you tell your players that, and I don't know if that helped them or hurt them because now they're like, oh my gosh, like what are we getting ourselves into? So I think that's kind of what we try to focus on. And then this year for sure, like our team motto is just like always be unselfish and put your team ahead in every decision that you make, right? Which leads to like hard defending and playing till the end kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. So with your Argentinian background, there's no Messi, but it's more by committee.
Yeah, I would say that's the identity of like Newport Harbor.
Yeah, and hardworking, which is right so important in high school soccer. Is that right? I mean,
I think that's what makes it enjoyable.
Yeah,
I think high school sports, you got 2.5 months, and this is your lot that you get of players, and how do you win as many games as possible in that short amount of time?
Maximum effort, short period, and give it your best.
Right,
That's great.
Right.
How about the league? Obviously, you're in the Sunset League. Tell us about just the competition and what you expect.
So the league has changed quite a bit. This is now the second year where they've gone back to a 7-team league where we play everybody twice.
Okay.
So like we're already 2 league games in.
Yeah.
So we played La Salle at La Salle. Good game. We lost 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then played Marina at Marina and won 2-1 in overtime.
Yeah.
We play the Battle of the Bay tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But I think that in our league, the players tend to be, the La Salles, the Edisons, when you look at who's won the league the most, those are the names that kind of pop up. But I think in our league, every year, anybody can beat somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So every year, the team that finishes last, whoever it is, pulled up an upset against one of the top teams.
Wow.
At least once. So it creates kind of an interesting road with that second, third, fourth entries into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got to maximize points when you can.
That's right.
Especially at the end, in soccer, which is a part that like people might not enjoy as much about soccer. There are times people play for a tie.
Yeah.
Because they want to get a point instead of a loss.
Yeah.
Right? Which is sometimes that can put you into the playoffs.
Yeah. So, but you in high school, you feel that's still a little bit of the case, or
not
do you
at the
feel like
beginning
it's
of the
more
league,
opening?
but as you start seeing like, okay, it looks like this team's gonna run away with it, and this team's not gonna do so well, and then like when you start figuring if you can finish second or fifth, you go, oh my gosh, when we go to this game, we gotta win that game.
Got to make sure,
When we go to that game away against the top team, if we can somehow keep it close, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. How about set pieces? Like, I mean, we talk about corner kicks or free kicks. I mean, do you feel like you've got some special players this year that can step up and help with the service of the ball and maybe finishing the goal scoring that we want to see?
I mean, set pieces are always crucial in soccer, right? I mean, anytime you get a foul, you get a corner kick, the crowd stands up.
Yeah,
right?
I would think so.
Yeah, happens, right?
For high school, right?
For high school,
especially.
For sure. Long throw-ins.
Yeah.
Putting players in the box. Anytime the ball's driven hard into the box, like it creates a problem for the defense.
Yeah, these young guys and gals that are throwing the ball, they're doing flip throw-ins, and like you said, it's almost like a corner kick, and so it really is important. Do you have someone on the team that's really really good at that?
We definitely have players that can zip the ball in there, and we don't like to discuss too much of our secret plays, but we definitely have some things that we try to keep in our back pocket.
Up your sleeve, ready for game time.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and we just wish you the best of luck, and maybe we can reconnect mid-season and hopefully have you again and get an update on how things are going, and looking forward to following your team.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Good luck to us. Thank you.
Okay.